We continue to target the Chinese organizations that are sending this precursor chemicals into Mexico for the manufacturing of fentanyl to come across our border.
The FBI seized more than 2,200 kilograms of fentanyl last year. That's a 31% increase from 2024. That's enough to kill 180 million Americans across this country.
What you're looking at over here is about $2 million worth of fentanyl. This is about 2.5 million doses of fentanyl.
Today, we're announcing the arrest of a major fentanyl trafficker in Arcadia and the seizure of at least $1.3 million worth of fentanyl. It's equivalent to about 8.5 million potentially deadly doses of fentanyl.
Fentanyl is way down coming into the country for two reasons. The border's strong, but it's also down because they're sending less. You know, we taxed them. I gave them a 20% tariff, and because of fentanyl.
Back. Well, that was the DEA chief, FBI Director Kash Patel, and officials talking about fentanyl pouring across the U.S. border. And that was President Trump saying fentanyl trafficking is way down because of his border crackdown. To this news, the CBP announced it has seized enough illegal fentanyl just at the southern border alone so far this fiscal year that is enough to kill, it says, 100 million Americans. Joining us now, Fox News My View with Lara Trump. Host of that show is Lara Trump. What do you make of this, Lara? It's good to see you again. That's a lot of people.
It's close to a third of our population. That's right. It's kind of amazing to see what happens, Liz, whenever you actually have a president in the White House who wants to enforce the law and actually tries to ensure that we save American lives. You know, whenever you think about what these men and women of Border Patrol, of ICE have to deal with on a daily basis, and yet they are still able to get this done. It's amazing. And I think you talk to anyone out there, and you're hard-pressed to find anyone who hasn't had someone they know deal with a fentanyl overdose, or a family member knows somebody. It's touched so many American lives, and thank God we have a president in the White House and a team working around the clock to save American lives. You're seeing it happen every single day. You've seen a significant decrease in overdose deaths around this country thanks to this president. It's really amazing.
You know, we've talked to so many people about this, right? We've talked to law enforcement. We've talked to immigrants. We talked to a lot of people who are for open borders. They ignore the warnings from border communities, from immigrant communities, from law enforcement that Biden's open border triggered massive crimes: drug trafficking, sex trafficking, labor trafficking, women and children getting raped, assaulted, and killed. So if you were to sit across from somebody, and by the way, the United States is built on immigration. We're pro-immigration, pro. We're just against illegal immigration because it causes crimes. If you were to sit across from somebody who would say to you, Lara, we need to keep the border open because we want more immigrants coming in, what would you say to them?
Yeah, it's outrageous. We had that experiment for 4 years under Joe Biden and our border czar. Don't forget that, Liz. Kamala Harris. It was an epic disaster. To your point, we saw people so harmed by an open border, not just Americans, but the people who were coming up through our southern border. It is a treacherous journey. At least a third of the women, they estimate, are raped on their journey up through the southern border. You had drug cartels who weren't even worried about the drugs anymore because there was such a free flow of drugs. They were making more money on human trafficking. And then once people got to this country, guess what? They were indebted to these coyotes, to these cartels and gangs. It was a complete failure for America. And now that we have a president who is enforcing our border security, this isn't a law Donald Trump made up, don't forget. This is the law of the land. It's as written on the books. We just didn't have people who were willing to enforce it. And he's going a step further, especially when it comes to the illicit drugs coming into our country. We saw Nicolas Maduro arrested. He will stand trial in New York City for his crimes. You also saw that this president is targeting, as they're coming in from the ocean as well, these boats full of drugs. He is not playing games. He is not on his watch going to have an open border, going to have Americans being killed whenever it's very basic to shut our borders down and keep Americans safe.
Got it, Lara Trump. And the immigrants who are crossing safe, too, who want to come here legally. Lara, thank you so much.